How are you, Matt? It's been a while.
Mate, it's been too long. It's been a really long time.
Yeah.
It's in fact, since I last saw you, a lot of things have gone on, haven't they?
I went to Croatia. You went to
Portugal.
There's been other stuff happening at work.
Yeah.
Actually, the most important thing that's happened...
You got sunburn.
I did. I got sunburn yesterday when we were out filming a trailer for the up-and-coming FanLeague Cup.
Which, are we talking about that now? Are we talking about that later? Is this a tease for later?
Yes,
this is a big announcement.
Yeah, we're going to announce what is the FanLeague Cup.
Dun.
It's a big deal. Big deal for Ball Street and everyone taking part. But more important than that, in a way, is someone mistaken James for your son.
I know.
That
was
you more insulted?
A low point. I don't know who was the most insulted. Probably me. I think it's got to be me because
he looks young though.
He does, but he's still a grown man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's not fully grown. Man. He's a half-grown man.
Half-grown man. What happened?
They just thought I was his dad.
Was it the way you were talking to him?
It could be. It could be, but it was when we were playing FIFA at Wembley, wasn't it? And in it, like, the other guy had a son, but there was a boy, like a 7-8-year-old boy.
Yeah.
The guy I was playing had a son, and it was like, oh yeah, do you want to go on there with your dad? And then he turned around and started talking to James like that. Like, fuck you, it's not my son. James like, I'm 32 or whatever, 31 or whatever.
31. I know the reaction to that bombshell.
You enjoyed that, didn't you?
Yeah, on the last podcast. No one could believe that James was 31, but he definitely is. Fixture list came out.
Mate, don't fucking just gloss over. Like,
What?
we've all season long, we've had this little narrative. We've been talking about it.
I thought we'd done that.
No, you have. We haven't done it.
All right.
This is how it's changed. I don't like how you've changed.
Look, all of the good things I've said about Huddersfield, that's in the past now. You're in the Premier League. You're in the Premier League.
See, that was how excited I was to talk about it, and that was almost the physical. I can't even find the words here, but this is how I feel is how that microphone felt.
I'm sorry you set me up and I missed it. But all I would say is we have spoken about it a lot.
Yeah,
and you've talked about it a bit too much. So you've got to get over it. All right, you've promoted.
Have you heard this guy? Have you seriously heard this guy?
Outrageous.
You fucking
look. We're enemies now, mate. There's no.
You have actually. You genuinely mean it, don't you? I was really looking for... So Ricky and some of the guys from the Fighting Cock all messaged me, oh, we'll go to the game together. I'm like, yeah, wish it was at White Hart Lane.
Bollocks.
Really nice.
We ain't going to the game.
You, my actual friend, who I've spent hours with, sitting around this table, turned on me.
I have. Because you're like, there's no such thing as a second team. I don't believe it.
I don't want you to be a second team. But this
sounds like it.
This is what I didn't want. This is what I didn't want to happen. I didn't want to be in the Premier League.
Welcome to the big league.
Because this is
it's
what
horrible
like.
up here.
It is.
Spiteful.
You're all fucking...
Backbiting.
You're all fucked. You've all been in it too long to the stage where...
Gone mad.
You're all horrible. Do you know what? I miss going and meeting Adam and having a nice pint. And even afterwards, even after we'd beaten Brentford on his own yard, got the double over him, he invites me to the Mackey's drive-through. You know what I'm saying?
Did you, Ed?
Obviously, I replied. Obviously, I replied going, I feel awkward about that. I'm a grown man. I've got a daughter. I want to go home and see her and have some proper food. But
I'm going to go with a 22-year-old bloke and his mates to a McDonald's
who've been drinking Fosters all day. Do you know what I'm saying? And watching them fucking, I don't know what. It is the thought that counts, and it was lovely, but that's what it's like in a championship.
Friendly.
In the Premier League, you're all dicks. I don't like it.
Brentford come up, they can get it too. I hope.
No more busy bumblebees.
Nothing like that. I hope genuinely you come to Wembley next week and we annihilate you, 7 or 8-0.
Fucking hell. Seriously, right? Do you know what, mate? Do you know who's fucking listening?
Who?
My friends.
The football gods.
The football gods.
They're not. They don't exist. They're not real. They're not real.
Mate, they are real.
They're not, because if they did, Arsenal wouldn't have had all the success.
Someone reached out to me on Twitter and said you should write a book on how I played the football gods and won.
Yeah.
By Matt Wilson.
Because there are times when you've been talking about Huddersfield, the little belief, the slight smugness that comes with success and it's not your fault. It happens to all football fans. I've got it.
He's
coming.
Oh, do you think?
Yeah.
Carry on.
And he's got it as a Brentford fan. Like when you went up to him, you was going.
He's aggressive.
Yeah.
He's aggressive up front. Isn't
Quietly aggressive. Yeah.
We're gonna fucking smash you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're amazing.
We're gonna tear you apart.
It was, but
no, but well done.
football gods, mate.
Congratulations.
Football gods, I think, might actually just. Do you know what? Because I think I don't know when we play you actually. Because but if we play you and manage to somehow beat you, which is look, we're gonna probably win 1 or 2 games. All I'm saying is you've tempted fate there. And do you know what the football gods like doing? They like slapping beardy bastards like you in the face. Yeah. So that's all I'm saying.
They could with their imaginary hands. Yeah, no, it was great to see. And, you put a £10 million bid in for Aaron Moy today.
What?
Yeah, just saw him play.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You play? Is this one of your Premier League games?
No.
Are you messing?
Is he fucking messing?
Do we not all work in the football industry? You're not keeping on your finger on the pulse. Okay, now is that? Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I hope so because Aaron Moy is mirror football.
For those listening,
Mirror that. It's fucking link bait probably.
No.
But if it's true, then fucking.
£10 million.
I love Aaron.
When was
Moy.
it? What's your record? What's the most Huddersfield have ever?
1.75 million.
That's your record.
That's our record.
What are you doing in the Premier League? You don't
Mate.
deserve to be here.
Mate, we had the 6th smallest budget in that league. How he got us up, I've no idea.
Incredible, that is absolutely incredible. 1.7 million. Who was that on?
Christian Schindler, centre half, German, decent.
Was he alright?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if
Is he
he's
gone?
Is he gone?
Is he still there?
Yeah, we was bought him last year. That
Alright.
was the biggest deal. But we've got a lot to do.
Yeah.
Because Brighton and Newcastle were promoted on the 17th and 24th of April. We got promoted on the 29th of May.
Yeah.
They've had 6 weeks more to prepare, and it's arguable that they were more ready.
Yeah.
Like, clearly more ready than us.
Yeah.
So if you think about what that, because I know we talk about business a lot on this, and obviously on my channel as well. You think about what a club has to do that's never been up there before, just in terms of getting ready for TV, just in terms of the commercial deals you need to kind of now start to plan for and how you structure that. And I know that's difficult and takes time. The social media, the marketing side of it, the ticketing policies and the way that you do all that stuff fairly.
Yeah.
All these things that the club's got to do, as well as sort out a fucking playing staff that ultimately our 3 best players last year were loans from Chelsea and Aaron Moy from City. So we've got to sign those guys just to hold par with last year.
Yeah.
And we had no right getting up anyway last year. So we've got a hell of a lot to do outside of buying players, and we're 6 weeks behind those teams in terms of planning. So it's going to be a real challenge for us. However, we've got David Wagner, who I think is a manager that's got the potential to do something great. He's already proven that.
Yeah.
He's broken the limits that the football club had, the glass ceiling that was there. So if we can actually find a way to back him, if we can find a way to give him what he needs, who knows what he's able to do.
What
really.
were your hopes at the beginning of the season?
Last season?
Yeah.
Well, Callum Randall, Southend, a big mate of ours, obviously, and worked here for a good time. He said that we were going down. I probably thought that, to be fair, we'd be eking around, and so I was shocked. I never believed that it was going to happen, and I think that's why on the video that you see, I don't know if you probably haven't watched it because you're such a twat now that we're promoted.
I did watch it. It's amazing. I watched all of it. I watched one of Matt Weld on the Facebook page.
Right. Okay.
I watched it all. It was good.
So you see my face, and it's funny.
Pure glee.
It's a mixture. It's almost like shock and delight fighting for the same face.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they're almost like, and so the face just goes.
Yeah.
Some mad, horrible fucking moment when you look at it like that. But I guess it was real. You know what I mean?
Your last 5 games of the season, the Premier League season this year, are not kind on Huddersfield.
I know.
Who have you got?
I don't even know, mate.
Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester City, and Everton. Doesn't matter though.
No.
I'm sorry to add that.
I mean, look, I guess that'll mean Champions League or Europa League. It's a tough running for us, so it might be we end up in Europa or something like that. But
imagine, it's a fucking dream.
Yeah, it will.
All jokes aside,
yeah.
I'm really, really happy for you,
Yeah.
and we will have a beer.
Yeah.
At Tottenham.
Yeah.
Because
don't believe it.
Yeah.
I'll have a beer with Ricky and Thelonious and that lot, but
I don't even
drink
drink with them.
Do you not?
No, I'm the head and I'm the voice of the Fighting Cock podcast. I don't have to spend, I can't. There's levels.
There's levels. That's so fun. Quite. Okay, what's next then?
Well, I mean,
this is going to be quite a quick pod, isn't it? Oh, by the way, because we missed last week, which was sorry for, but we were both kind of away. We're going to do quite a quick one this week, but we are going to go through the summer because a lot of people are asking about that and not sure.
Yeah, so we might be talking about things other than football. Like later on in this pod, there's massive news about McGregor and Mayweather.
Yeah.
Getting that done. I wasn't always sure that it would happen, but it's happened. So we're going to talk about that a bit in a bit. Huddersfield, your ground. Is it, for those that don't know, what's it like, Huddersfield ground? What can away fans expect when they go there?
Well, I've never been there as an away fan, but
is it intimidating?
No, it's not. Well, look, we're a nice family club. Yes, we do have like anyone, we have a few idiots and a few people that are looking for that kind of stuff, and gun-eared away fans and all that stuff. But we're a family club, and there's great tradition there. And yeah, I think it's one of these new stadiums. It was the first of them, but it's a bit like Bolton's or something like that. It looks a bit like a spaceship. But yeah, it's an alright place to come and watch footy. There's a story that someone was telling me about away fans' experience, and that there's a place where they get off, I can't forget, off the bus or whatever, and there are ladies of the night
in Huddersfield
waiting there. This is what someone told me the other day from a Premier League team that played us in a friendly or a cup, and I was just like, what?
Where is that? Where did that happen?
But that's what I was working at, because that's an away fans experience I've heard about. But it's like, seriously,
at Huddersfield?
Huddersfield.
So there's a red light district in Huddersfield?
No, but I think that there's
there is.
I think that there's it's almost like like you get pop-up stores that might sell hot dog vans or something, like a hot dog van that might pull up when there's a one-off bit of traffic, a bit like that.
I mean,
pop-up
red light district.
Apparently, something like that. Which is, I don't know if that's true. It's what someone told me, so I just want to let that be known. This isn't my knowledge. It's what I heard.
Yeah,
but getting tickets is going to be a challenge for me next season to get to away games. Just to move on from that.
No, just stay with it.
Oh God,
just for a second.
Don't. I'm a dad.
What are there? No, of course. There aren't streetwalkers anymore. You can't just go and pick up a prostitute off the street anymore. That's like days of old. Like that's you don't need to anymore. I don't understand that.
I don't know what you mean. There's Tinder now.
Speaking of which,
oh, Adam.
Oh, Adsky.
Is he on Tinder?
Got a date tonight?
Really? Oh wow! Yeah. Come on.
You knew that as soon as he said Tinder, didn't you? Go on then. Tell us.
Tell you what.
Birds and that, yeah?
Tinder date.
Going in Soho.
Oh, yeah. Yeah? Where are you going to take her?
She's taking me.
What?
She's taking me to the Vault in Soho.
Okay. Oh, she recommended it. So she's a bit of a party animal. Nice.
She's got a. Do you know? But when I was a single man, I had a sequence of pubs in Soho that was my dating sequence of pubs, because you've got to go into a few venues quite quickly, because it breeds. If you essentially sit in the same place with someone for 3 hours, it's not the same as sitting in 3 different places with someone for an hour each. Then it's much more an evolved thing. So I'd quickly escalate through a few different places in Soho, and then it'd be good.
So this is a tactic.
Well, it's not a tactic. It's just it's like anything, isn't it? You learn how to
play the game.
Play the game.
Did you ever have a date that went so well that you didn't move? You just sat there and you just talked for 3 hours?
No, I'd always move it along, because it's like going through the gears. So yeah, get through the gears tonight.
Ad's going to be all over that.
Yeah.
You got any tactics, Ad?
Any tactics?
Things?
No, not really.
What's your hope for the season?
End up in Floridita.
What's my hope?
Yeah. Like the ultimate goal would be what?
I think we all know.
I think we all know.
Look, it ain't all about that.
No, it's not about that. It is when you're 20.
It's about love, right? Love.
It's about. You've been chatting about this all day.
You know, sometimes with my missus, we'll sit down and we won't even say a word. We'll just stare at each other for 3 hours.
You'll do that?
Nah.
No, you won't do that.
No, but we are comfortable in silence, which is good.
That is good.
Yeah, that's really good.
Sorry, I know. Just to pick up on this. So tell us about her. What's her stats?
She's smoking.
Is she smoking?
Yeah, she's nice.
Oh, really?
But look at him. Why wouldn't she be?
Yeah, he's a handsome boy.
Fucking right. He's no ways. He ain't.
Is that how you dress?
He ain't. Yeah,
I'm going home first.
You got your Uruguay top on. You can't go and fucking meet a bird with a Uruguay strip.
Uruguayan fucking black trainers and white ankle socks.
You guys make me cringe.
Yeah, she is good looking. I would say, yeah,
she's alright.
What colour barnet?
What colour barnet?
Yeah, brown.
Yeah,
white girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that your zone? It's 20. He doesn't have zones, does he? All shapes and sizes.
You don't discriminate, do you?
No.
You don't discriminate.
Whatever he can get.
Yeah. He'll take whatever he can
Yeah,
get.
he will.
God, she is in trouble, isn't she?
Poor girl.
Should we do the announcement?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that wasn't the announcement.
That wasn't the announcement.
That was just for birds and that. Yeah.
Yeah. Ad, will you let us know how you got on the date next week? Yeah.
Maybe.
No, you got
Depends what happens.
birds and that. Yeah. Well, you don't have to tell us everything.
You could just tell us
a
fraction of the story.
So big news. Ball Street. You do it because you've worked so hard.
I haven't really thought about it.
All right,
what to say. But we've been working on this for a long time. Ultimately, haven't we?
Yeah, it's a massive deal. It's called the FanLeague Cup.
Yeah.
And there is going to be 8 teams, all from YouTube.
Yeah.
And they're going to be competing in a knockout competition to find out who is
the king,
the
best
of the platform.
Yeah.
Who's the best? Who we got signed up? Anyone yet?
Well, there's a couple of people we've started conversations with.
Right.
But we're in it.
We're in it.
Ball Street are in it. We have a team.
It's our. I mean,
I've seen the squad.
Have you? Am I in it?
What's your name again?
There's going to be a lot of eyes. There's going to be a lot of eyes on this, Matt, and I'm a little bit. I don't think I should play. I've come to the conclusion.
Oh, you don't think? Oh no.
No.
God, why?
Is it all right if I don't play?
Is it all right if you don't play?
Yeah, I'm just too old. Anyway, look, this isn't. Forget that. Look,
it's
we've
not
got
about
this
you.
huge.
So the good thing here is, right. So we actually were almost the first to execute a social football game that actually went viral and penetrated the collective conscience. We did Ian Wright's One More Game.
That's right.
We brought Ian Wright out of retirement. For One More Game, it allowed Twitter followers and social media to join in by interacting in a number of ways. We amplified that. It trended 6 or 7 times. It reached 17 million people.
Wow.
Twitter used that as an example, and they all ended up playing at Wembley.
Yeah.
Ian Wright came out and said that he got as much pleasure from that being his last game as football as his last game for Arsenal, which was fucking incredible. When you heard that, you're like, wow, okay, that's serious, because you know what Arsenal means to him. Of course, you know. Yeah. So that was massive, and we've been wanting to do stuff. You know, teams like Palmer's have existed and done some incredible stuff, essentially telling the story of their Sunday League team, and that's got loads of people behind it. Spencer Owen and Hashtag really took it all on to a new level. The work that Spencer and Seb and they have done is phenomenal, really. They've made this market into what it is. They've made this medium into what it is, and the audience that they've created when they've done the Wembley Cup, because they did the Wembley Cup just after we did One More Game, and theirs was very different to ours, and then they came and did it again and did a live stream. It had like a couple 100,000 concurrent viewers on YouTube. Fucking incredible engagement and way that they do it. And what we've done is we obviously know a few channels. We have good vision for these things, and for a long time I've been wanting to create some kind of competition where people could compete, and really in a marketplace where a lot of times people are taking value, we're helping create value in the collective of these channels working together. So we've got conversations. We think that I think we start to talk about it properly today, and I think that hopefully some of these channels will jump in and get involved. and we'll end up doing something beautiful.
And if you want to follow us in our journey into building towards the FanLeague Cup, you can do that on the Bull Street's channel.
Yeah.
You'll be able to follow. We'll be making announcements when people agree to play in the competition, and our feelings, and it's going to be really exciting.
It is
it's huge
because there's no England under 20s. Is it under 20s? I always get won that. I think there's a women's tournament this summer, but there's no
proper football. Is it
proper football tournament that we can talk about all the time now? So we're gonna make one essentially.
Absolutely.
And I think that for anyone that watches YouTube and that spends time in this space, I think it's something you'll find fascinating and interesting. And hopefully we can go on and win it. Whether we will or not, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not in the team, we have a chance, I think. But it's a fascinating and an exciting thing, and you can follow us through that journey towards the FanLeague Cup. It will be all over all of our social media and our YouTube and the areas.
And we should put a link on this to the announcement video so people can check that out.
Yeah.
There's also 2 randomers can get into our team if they win a competition.
That's true. All you have to
Is
do
it 2 or 3?
I think 2.
I think 3.
Okay. So 3 people,
2 or 3
subscribers of Bull Street can get into the Bull Street team.
Yes.
And what you have to do is subscribe to Bull Street. And you also have to register with the FanLeague app.
Just look out for information on it. And if you fancy playing, if you've got some skills, I know that people that follow us do like to play a bit of ball, so you could get involved.
Got to be good though.
Also, I'll be doing a video on that. 'Cause for those of you that... Oh, by the way, thanks everyone, because Matt Will started since you've been away as well.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
I've watched them all.
I just don't trust you anymore. I just don't feel like I know you anymore.
Have I damaged?
You've damaged this. To be honest, mate, we had a really strong relationship. Now, hanging by a thread.
Well,
but sorry, just to say I've been documenting elements of that journey and pulling together that project. It's something we've been working on for a long time, and I think that those of you that like that business side of it, I think you probably enjoy that. The video's not going up yet, but there'll be something going on Matt World in that regard as well. How we'd pull that project together and showing the behind the scenes stuff on how we've done that. So
it's good stuff. Really good. Speaking of business ventures, biggest fight probably in history.
Wow.
Most valuable fight.
Yes.
In history, certainly.
Yes.
Confirmed last night. I was actually amazed. McGregor versus Mayweather, or it should actually be as listed, Mayweather versus McGregor. That was one of the stipulations from Mayweather's side, that his name goes first. Such is his insecurity as a man.
Oh my God.
So important. Confirmed last night. Amazed really to some degree that it got over the line. It was always speculation, but then there's enough money and enough will, these things tend to happen. How do you feel at this stage about it? Because you're a big McGregor fan and big MMA fan. I know you like boxing as well.
Yeah, so I've been into MMA from the ground floor. Like, I remember having UFC 1 and 2 on VHS and watching them at uni with Pete the Meat.
Right.
And then I remember, when Tough started, which was the first reality show, which is really what enabled the UFC and mixed, which is obviously a body within mixed martial arts, the sport. Go on.
Back then, with just the MMA one, that or UFC one, that was
Tough one.
Tough
Oh,
one.
sorry, go
Is
on.
that like karate versus wrestlers and those disciplines, separate disciplines?
Yes. So what it was, the mixed martial arts was ultimately people coming together fighting from different disciplines without much rules. So what you'd got was it was almost like verticals. So there were people that did karate, there were people that did boxing, there were people that did jiu-jitsu, there were even like street fighter type thing. You might have had a sumo guy, and then you might have had someone that did, I don't know, some kind of kung fu or something like that, right? And then what you started to have was so they'd get in a cage, and you'd literally get some huge guy, a bit like Bloodsport, the Jean-Claude Van Damme
Amazing
movie.
film.
Yeah, it was like that. You'd get one huge guy fighting against someone that was, that was kind of moving different, and the guy that was a fighter that didn't want to get dragged to the floor, the wrestler would be trying to grab him to the floor, and once he went to the floor, it was game over kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or you had like Royce Gracie, this Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy going in his gi, and he'd get hold of this big guy, and then he'd get him on the floor, and he'd get him in some kind of leg lock or something like that. And
was there a particular discipline that kind of was most successful?
It's gone. Watching the whole sport evolve has been beautiful because there was a time where you knew that if this guy got that guy to the floor, it was over. So this guy would be trying to stay on his feet. So it's wrestling has always been perceived to be the most the strongest base for the sport, because those guys can usually land a big power shot and they can always drag people to the ground. But then the fight starts standing up, so the strikers have got an advantage in that regard. But as it's evolved, what you've started to see is that everyone's got quite well rounded, and it's a shame because you'd have these people that were really good dominant fighters that had amazing, like people like Rampage Jackson, who was incredible stand-up boxing kind of skills, good wrestler. But as the sport evolved around him, it got to the stage where if somebody had a really good ground game or jiu-jitsu game, they could nullify him and take him to the ground, and then he'd be fighting off his back for the whole fight. But as we are now, everyone's pretty much well grounded. So and what's beautiful is that in the transition from us fighting on our feet to going to the floor, there's these little moments where people would be going, oh, I'm going from boxing now to grappling to jiu-jitsu. In those gaps, in between those transitions, really good fighters are finding these little moves whereby people's movements are predictable to pull off some amazing technique. Or when they know the wrestler's shot's coming, they're able to land these beautiful kind of flying knees and stuff like that. So the sport's evolved now, and where it's going to be in 5 years or 10 years, it's going to be like watching fucking ninjas go at it. You saw MVP that we fought. He's a next generation fighter with incredible length and deception and movement, and able to push people off and not get taken to the ground. But where it goes is very exciting.
McGregor, what's his natural weight? Because I know he's the weights in MMA are very different from boxing. There's fewer divisions. He's fought at 2 divisions. Is it one?
He's fought 3 divisions.
Wow. All right.
So he's
145. He's
145, but that's a tough weight cut for him to get down to 145, which is featherweight. 155 is what he's the current champion of, but he was the 2-weight champion, 145 and 155. But he stepped up and fought Nate Diaz at 170.
That's
because
right.
Diaz was coming in on short notice and couldn't cut down, so they fought 170. Conor lost that fight and then wanted to fight him again at the same weight and then won that fight. So he's fought at 3 different weights.
So the fight's been classified as a 154
right.
pound, which is
that for me is Mayweather's perfect
light middle
body weight. I think in the UFC at 170 he's going to be fighting against different kinds of animals, and against the odd matchup will work for him, but I think some people would be very tough for him at 170. So 155, 154 is a good weight for McGregor.
Feels like both of them. It feels like a good weight for both of them. I know he Mayweather campaigned at 147. This will be the heaviest weight he's ever fought at.
Is that right?
But yeah, he's got older now and been out of the ring.
McGregor will be the bigger guy here, won't he? Will he have a bit of a weight, a bit of a reach advantage?
Probably as well. I don't know the stats. But he will be going into the ring after hydration. He'll probably, I would say, he'd be a good 10, 15 pounds heavier than Mayweather. That's not something that Mayweather hasn't faced before. Canelo Alvarez was probably 20 pounds.
Wow.
He massively hydrates after losing weight. So it's expected to do $1 billion in pay-per-views. Good gross. That's insane,
mate. The thing is, right, is everyone's into McGregor now. And everyone's into this fight now. I remember talking about this fight
we talked about it a year ago, didn't we?
Exactly, yeah. We spoke about it a year ago. And I always thought that the reason why this fight would happen is because simply there was enough money to make it happen. Mayweather needed an opponent, really. I mean, in fact, Mayweather would make money off the box office, but I think that he needs Conor McGregor more than Conor McGregor needs him. And I think that the UFC need Conor McGregor because Conor has become the big draw. He's the big talking point. He's the one that everyone looks up to now. His mouth is... The trash talking between these two is going to be amazing, by the way. The media talk is going to be fucking amazing.
I mean, the irony of that is that's free. And probably that's going to be the most competitive thing about this.
Yeah, well, okay.
We'll come on to that.
Yeah, we'll come on to that.
Because you think he can do it.
No.
A little part of you does.
Okay.
I hope he does. There'd be nothing greater than just watching him go in there and not Mayweather out. That'd be hilarious.
Man.
But I just can't. I think the chances of him beating Mayweather at a boxing match over 12 rounds are so small.
Well, they gotta be. I mean, okay, so Floyd Mayweather is undefeated as a boxer. He is extremely skilled in the art of not getting hit. So you'd be mad to say Conor McGregor can come into a boxing ring with boxing rules and beat him. Because there's a whole thing about expertise and about spending a certain amount of time, so it becomes muscle memory, it becomes natural. So whereas Floyd Mayweather has spent his whole life from a baby, because of his dad, fighting and hitting pads and working on the art of boxing and not getting hit, and that's what he's drilled, as well as obviously fitness and stuff like that. Conor McGregor has been training every mixed martial art under the sun. Conor McGregor, although he's done boxing and he did boxing as an amateur, and although he's got great hands and great technique, it's different doing it in an MMA cage.
Yeah.
It's different doing it under MMA rules. It's different when you're using kicks and different fakes to set up the hands, and it's different when you've got an MMA ref. And it's different because every single thing that's in Conor McGregor's muscle memory is different. Yes, he can train for boxing, but Floyd Mayweather spent his entire life focusing on that one thing. So you're mad to say that he could go in and do it. However, it's Conor McGregor. It's Conor McGregor. And if there's one guy that has proven that he can reach beyond the constraints and reach beyond the limits and do what can't be done, it's Conor McGregor.
Yes, it is.
But the rules are going to fuck him.
But that's the rule.
The rules,
boxing, isn't it? That's...
Yeah, it is. But that's what's going to fuck him. Because in MMA, you don't have this referee going break. That whole thing with the clinch, you're working in the clinch in MMA. In boxing, when they clinch, they're breaking them. Mayweather's just going to have levels of savvy that Conor's never seen before. And it's like the Hatton fight. If that referee, and I'm sure it will be a boxing referee that's probably in his fucking pocket and has probably been in his pocket for fucking years. Because I'm sorry, but that Hatton fight, I know he knocked him out convincingly in the end, but every time that they got inside, which is where Hatton wants to be, that ref was just breaking them up and stopping that momentum.
Yeah, but so, the rules in boxing state you can't hold. It's against the rules. So some boxers, some referees are more stringent and strict than others. That 100%.
Some let them work in that place, well, and that's what Hatton wanted, and he was deprived of that. As soon as he got there, they'd split him up. Fucking Mayweather's just showing the back of his head from there, so you can't hit him. It's just like I don't watch Mayweather's fights because I find it boring. I think he is an artist, but I don't like how he fights. That's partly why I fell in love with MMA as a sport, because in the sport of MMA you don't hide from your opponent. The best fighters tend to come together and fight, and actually people are not fighting to go 12 rounds and protect the O and protect the loss record. People are trying to fight to win a lot of the time, most of the time. So you tend to see a conclusion. The way that Dana White and that set it up was based on trying to incentivize people to end the fight quickly, to go for knockouts, etc. So that's what you see.
Oscar De La Hoya called boxing as a sport might never recover from this fight. I think, for those that don't know, Oscar De La Hoya owns and runs Golden Boy, and he's had run-ins with Mayweather for a long time. I suspect that if he was promoting it, he would have no issue with the fact that it was going to affect boxing anyway. I don't actually think it does. I don't think it negatively impacts boxing. It doesn't negatively impact a UFC. I'm actually looking at it as an exhibition fight, because you've got a retired boxer. Mayweather is retired. He has been retired for boxing. And then you've got McGregor, who is an MMA fighter. And we're just going to see what happens, and that's what's fascinating about it. So it's not affecting anything.
It's like Rocky 3 when Hulk Hogan's fighting against Rocky. And I remember watching it. That was fucking so stimulating, because I remember it. It's just interesting. Bloodsport, the movie, it was fascinating. and seeing these different people come together to fight. The rules is the important thing. The framework for that is the important thing. Yeah. And I guess if it is entirely boxing, we know what we're going to see, but it's still a really interesting spectacle. People are still going to sign up for it. This is going to be the biggest sports pay-per-view audience ever, and may never be repeated. May never be beaten. But what's fascinating is that so Conor McGregor really changed. People used to really stay in their lanes. And in the UFC, there were fighters, that dominant champions like Anderson Silva and George St. Pierre. And people always wanted to see a super fight between them because they were both dominant champions, albeit one at 170 pounds and Anderson Silva at 185 pounds, right? And that super fight never happened. Now, what Conor did is by stepping up and creating these money fights. Now everyone in the UFC wants these money fights, and people are talking about moving divisions. The UFC is in a bit of a pickle at the moment. They've lost the integrity of their belts and the structure of that pyramid, and the whole money thing. After the sale, they're under pressure to make cash, which is why they're kind of pursuing this as well, because they don't have the stars that they've got. But interestingly enough, what's also happened now, so the UFC heavyweight champion, which is a guy called Stipe Miocic, an American firefighter with Croatian descent, I think, he's now come out and called out Anthony Joshua and said, I want to fight Anthony Joshua at heavyweight, and I think I can beat him.
Wow.
So this might be a...
Why? I mean, the money. Is there not enough money in UFC then?
Well, there is, but I mean, look at Conor's minted, but
the
people
brand.
that are successful, they don't just. A lot of them, some of them go, I've made my cash, now I'm off to the beach, or I'm going to spunk it and start getting high all the time. But some of them, it's an insatiable thirst. It's like a lot of entrepreneurs. They don't just make 100 million and then they retire. They keep going and they do it for life because it's what you are. So for Conor, there's enough money in the UFC at the top end of it, and Stipe's kind of at the top end of it. Isn't the pay-per-view that Conor is? No one's the pay-per-view draw that Conor is, because Conor brings it. He brings his mouth. He's just got that character. People like Ian Wright and Jimmy Bullard, who have kind of gone, I've seen the odd bit of UFC. They've fallen in love with it because of Conor McGregor. Lots of people that are now interested in the UFC, think they know about the UFC, they're interested in it because of Conor McGregor.
Yeah, he's the only fighter I know, pretty much, and I was fascinated by him the minute I saw him. I was completely fascinated.
He's amazing,
and I mean,
such an incredible character.
No, he is. He's almost like a caricature. It's almost that's bizarre what the stuff he does. You know, he was walking through Cheltenham with that.
On his stag do.
What was it?
Louis
Vuitton shirt, and
he's flip up shade.
You wouldn't wear that.
So sick.
Mate, that's him walking around Soho tonight.
Yeah,
with his flip up shades, open like that.
Yeah, I see you growing your beard out.
I know.
Like Conor McGregor.
Fake tan.
There's no fighter on earth. There's no boxer that could generate this amount of money, and that's the point. It wasn't worth Mayweather coming out and fighting anyone else. No one beats him in boxing now. Unfortunately for MMA fans, no one beat McGregor.
Like we said, because I'd love to see them try and work out a level playing field. But
yeah, we talked about mitts and
Mayweather must be so hard to negotiate with because he's fucking. I mean, you can't say he's deluded because he is 49-0 in boxing and he is a rich guy and he is all these things, but he's a dick. Right?
He is a dick.
He is a dick.
Yeah, he is.
And he's so. And I think just to get him to, because I'm the A side, it must be very hard to negotiate with someone that sees it so like that. So obviously the rules are going to be boxing rules, but it would be so fascinating if they were wearing 6-ounce MMA gloves, whereby because Floyd's more pat and lining you up, isn't he, over a period of time and stuff like that, and that might hurt Conor, but I'd love to see Conor fucking land one on him. Because the timing, it's a natural thing. And
I think what we'll see, I think everyone's going to be really excited until the fight starts, and I think there are going to be a lot of disappointed people because there's going to be so many casuals that are going to get into this, and they're going to see it, and they're going to see Mayweather just, if he boxes in the same way that he does in the ring, be very patient, very calm, very slow. And just wait, and he'll frustrate.
Fuck, man.
He'll frustrate McGregor, and then I think McGregor will put him in an armbar, And that'll be the end.
That's what you want to see, don't
Oh,
you? You
love
just
that.
want to see him just go into
lose it.
fucking flying knee.
Well, I tell you what, though, what I will give is that McGregor will last a lot longer in the ring than Mayweather would last in the octagon.
Oh yeah, of course. Floyd wouldn't last 2 minutes in a ring with a fucking female fighter because of the technique.
Exactly. And I think just to say where McGregor probably is as a boxer, I think he would probably struggle to win a Southern Area title in England.
Ooh, that's an interesting thought, isn't it? It's like how far, like where would he naturally fit in that boxing pyramid?
At this stage, but because of his boxing, he would struggle.
Well, maybe. It's interesting. Okay, so how about this then? Because this wasn't a video, was it? Because it was just before we started doing the video podcast.
Right.
We met Michael Venom Page. If you don't know Michael Venom Page, check out that podcast.
He's incredible.
London guy, hands down. He's from like almost like a point karate kind of system where it's hands down, because all these martial arts are kind of a little bit different. And this point karate, it's all about it's not about standing there and trading lots and lots of shots. It's about waiting for that one opportunity where you land the fatal blow. It's like Lyoto Machida, who's a fascinating karate-based MMA fighter as well. It's a similar kind of thing. So it's kind of distance, it's lulling you into a thing, it's evasive, and then it's strike like that. And MVP, that's his kind of background. But his kicks and everything's really unorthodox. Now, he told us a very interesting story on this podcast, which is why it's worth going and listening to. Yeah. He told us about sparring with Chris Eubank, didn't he?
Yeah, and Chris Eubank, for those who don't know, he's fighting for, he has a world title. It's not proper.
One of the many. Adam's got one.
Yeah.
World title slayer.
Yeah, he bought He fought this guy called Quillen, and it doesn't matter. Anyway, look, he's fighting for a world title. So
he's got pedigree.
He's a world level.
Yeah.
And I had no reason to doubt that he wasn't telling the truth, and he said he handled him, didn't he, in the ring?
So what MVP told us that when they sparred boxing, that Eubank couldn't live with him, couldn't cope with the movement and the. I guess the range and the speed and the
awkwardness of it.
Because that's the thing, we're talking about Mayweather's drilled, and this is partly what Conor did right in the UFC is people were fighting in a certain way and taught to fight in a certain way. So if you're a wrestler or a jiu-jitsu expert and you're taught you're learning striking because you're trying to round out the circle of skills, you're taught how to strike, but you're starting from the beginning. And you're layering up skills which you get better at as you go, right? Now, what Conor did, because where you start to see a difference is when people had come into the sport learning everything from the start. So the transitions between the different disciplines was different. And what Conor did, Conor started with quite a different stance to most people. So when he used to talk about other fights, he said, these orthodox fighters, they're like robots. The way they move, it's like I'm on a different level. Because he has quite a wide base. He fights a little bit more square on. The movement and stuff, there's a few people like that. Dominic Cruz, they've got a different movement that if you're trained into looking at this certain thing, that movement throws you a little bit. Yeah. Because all of a sudden, all your muscle memory where you're based on this program and this map, all of a sudden you're getting something different. And that's the essence of what MVP was telling us, that because his kind of movement was almost like capoeira, kind of different angles, and the hands were coming from here rather than this, it made it different. Yeah. So that maybe gives me this slight glimmer of hope that Conor's able to land things from angles that Conor hasn't seen before. I mean, that Mayweather hasn't seen before.
There is that. Maybe. We'll see. I mean, look, if...
I want to go.
Do you?
I want to go.
It's going to be Las Vegas.
I'm going to go. I need to find a way to go. Let's go.
Why don't you take the wife, the missus, to Las Vegas and on a holiday? Little holiday.
Yeah, I can't afford that. I need to fucking find another way to go.
Can you afford one person to go?
I could maybe afford myself.
Plus one.
Plus
I
one.
love her.
Me and Ads.
What?
Yeah. Are you kidding? Snakes. Going out there with him in his fucking Louis V chest out, flip down shave combo.
You know what? I can't argue with that.
Yeah, I know.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. Just final. What do you think's going to happen finally in that fight? What's your prediction? And then we've got one important question to answer, and then we're done.
What's my prediction in that fight? My prediction is that Floyd ruins it like he does all of his fights by fighting. Because I had this argument so many times with mates of mine that are into their boxing and that go on about Mayweather. It's like, yeah, fine, he wins all the time, but it's the manner in which he does it. I think that although there is a skill in that, and you've got to say, yes, well done technique-wise, what I want to see from a warrior, from someone that's, because boxing is a sport, but it's an entertainment as well. I want to see someone that's actually fighting to win by winning rather than out avoiding the other person.
Yeah, it depends what you like.
Yeah.
I mean, my three favourite boxers, well, two favourite boxers are a defensive first, like Pernell Whitaker and.
That's right. Yeah.
I do
remember you
love
talking to MVP about him
Yeah.
and the fight he won without throwing, the round he won without throwing a punch or something.
It was incredible. Yeah, it's just watch it. I mean,
you keep saying that. I've never watched it.
I'll
Okay.
definitely sort it out. Yeah, I think Mayweather will win on points. I don't think he knocks him out. I don't know. Maybe he will. I'm not sure. He hasn't knocked anyone out in years. So, Bardi from the Fighting Cock. He says, flip-flops. Are men allowed to wear them outside more than 2 miles from the sea? What's your opinion of men in flip-flops?
Great question. What's yours?
My opinion. Well, I can't walk in them. My feet don't work in flip-flops.
When you've
They
got the bit
fall
between
off.
your toe, that's hard.
Yeah, and they're my feet. No, I haven't got web feet. My feet. They just don't stay on. They just fall off all the time. I can't keep them onto my feet.
Well,
so I don't like them. I'm not a big fan.
It's a great question. It's a tough one. So Havianas, right? If you wear a pair of Havianas and if you've gone a long walk in them, whether you're 2 miles from the sea or not, and you're not used to wearing them, fucks me between that toe. It hurts, and you end up it rubs you the wrong way.
As a fashion statement, you're okay with flip-flops?
Do you know what? I tend to have my flip-flop wearing happening when I'm coastal. It does tend to happen that way. Or like when I've travelled, you end up wearing flip-flops or just walking around barefoot because, you know, it's nice to have your feet. Because the thing about living in cities like London, where you're surrounded by concrete, loads and loads of concrete, loads of electricity, fucking internet around us and everything like that, you're deprived from the things that we need from this planet.
Right.
Like, we need to be touching the ground. We need to have air. We need the sea, water, being in these things. They're good for us because we're actually a part of that ecosystem. The concrete and the electricity is actually a false thing.
Yeah.
So your body needs that stuff. So I think that it's nice to be in contact with the flora and the environment. But I personally, flip-flops is when I'm probably, in fact I probably would have maybe worn them on Clapham Common or something like that on a when I used to go doing the kind of things that he does on weekends, just McDonald's drive-throughs and fucking Foster's all day. Flav, you gotta cut that. You can't say that on here.
What? Why?
You can't.
Why?
You can't. I'm
What are you
serious.
talking about?
You can't say that on here.
What?
If you're watching this now, right, we've had to cut a word that Flav said because it's just not right. It's just not right.
It's just a tame sexual act.
It's not
Most
right.
people have done it by the time they're 14.
Flav! Fucking no, stop it! You fucker. No, it's not it, right. You've changed. I don't like this sunburnt bastard anymore.
Alright, okay, well that's it. Is that
generally not, some of that.
Is that going to cut out? You're gonna cut that?
We can, that one. Only because he's got to edit it.
Why have you got an issue with that?
Bleep it.
You've changed.
I've not changed.
You used to be alright with this kind of power.
No, I didn't. Not with anything that was like that.
Vulgar.
It's not vulgar, is it? But it's, you know what I mean? My dad.
That's what it is. You know what? I'm sorry. You're right. I should be more respectful. You are a dad.
Respectful.
I apologise. We'll beep it. How about that?
Daughter, yeah.
I don't know.
So,
Got to be a bit more open-minded.
on that note,
that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching us on our YouTube channel, Long Ball Street. And we'll
see you at the far post.